3, 2, live.
Farts. Old farts. Two old farts. Steve and Dave. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough. Not this time, though. This is just rough. Two old farts. There is no better waste of time. Two guys. Two old guys. A lot of BS and more drivel than you can shake a stick at. Steve and Dave. God help us.
Ooh, it's just us today. I like it.
Just
I
us
like that
today.
intro.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
voiceover
as long
guy
as we
did
can
that
keep
for us.
it, as far as I understand, we still are music's still available, but I keep getting odd bits and pieces on TikTok about things I've posted a trillion times that says it's a copyright issue and they take the sound off. So we'll see. If not, we'll have to, persuade somebody to give us a little bit more rock and roll. But
Some musician out there should give us an original piece of work with all our guests.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, first of all, hello everybody that's listening or watching. Watching is a new word now. Listening or watching.
Watching?
So David,
Watching is that a New York word, Stephen?
Apparently that must be a New York word. Watching. It's watching is a new word. We'll make it to the dictionary, I'm sure. It's been a long week. Anyway, so we thought everybody that we would just give you. We're going to go on holiday, which for most of you is going to be you won't miss us. Some of you will. We're going to go on holiday the 23rd through the 30th of April. So next month. So, but we figured we would just say
2023 for all those people who are watching it like in the future or in the past or wherever.
Yes. In the future, it was April. It was the year 2023 that we went on holiday from April 23rd to April 30th. Good point. And we figured we'd give an overview. This is David's idea to give an overview of some of the shows we have, upcoming, and just say hello and thank everybody because we have over 5,000 subscribers and our shows are doing well and we're growing. So we wanted to say thank you to everybody. So today is really just going to be a thank you show. If you don't really want to watch a thank you show and you're not a real fan, this is going to be really boring for you if it's the first time you're seeing us. But if you want to know what's coming up or what we have, this is a great show. It's kind of like the season premiere of a network television, I guess we could say.
Yeah, I suppose so. And if anybody's interested in, in joining us, because we're always looking for, new shows, new ideas for shows, we're open to that. Anybody wants to throw money at us, put us on a big network, well, maybe we'll consider that.
Or a little network at that point.
Or a little network.
If somebody wants to advertise. Yeah, this is. You never know. You never know. Yeah. There you go. So, what do we have there? David does.
Well, I just thought I'd just do a little bit of a run through as to what we're doing and who's doing it and what the idea is behind it, because it's kind of, we started off, did we not, Steve? You and my good self, just interviewing artists. We've told that story to everybody. It's a bit of a it was a bet we had with a particular marketing department, and they lost and we won. And basically, it was we felt that there would be enough artists that A, would want to talk to us, B, that had something interesting to say when they were talking to us, and C, most importantly, that people may even find it interesting what we were talking to them about. And I suppose that's basically two old farts, really. And so what we've done, I've called that then, just for want of a better statement, classic interviews, because these are the ones that we normally do ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I've been quite privileged this last nearly a year now to speak to some amazing people.
We've spoken to people we normally wouldn't speak to. We were just talking about that before we came on. Like, we spoke to this founder and CEO of a fish named Fred. We've got Connie Akers and Rusty Hayes and some other artists that we have. We've got the Canadian art guys. They're bringing artists that we would have never had a chance to speak to. We've got Greg Shapiro, who's a famous comedian. We got Roll Woods, who's a famous voiceover guy. I mean, we have people that, that we shouldn't be speaking to, but seem to like us and like doing shows with us. And we've got Brown Car Guy and his his buddy. So I mean, it's an eclectic group. So it's almost like it is really like network TV. Pick a show you like and come either once a week or once a month, and there we are. So it's
Yeah.
better than HBO.
Of
That's
course,
all I can say.
and of course, what the crazy thing, you mentioned all these names. The crazy thing is that we found ourselves being privileged that people would say, "Oh, really wasn't as painful." I think it's probably the best way to put it. It really wasn't quite as painful as we thought it would be. And can we come back and have more pain with you?
Yeah, and they
So
do, and they come back. So there you go.
So all of a sudden, we move from just doing these interviews with people who we found interesting, with sort of almost morphed into an entertainment channel. And we had this guy on, Adam. He was just absolutely fascinating. He was a Greek-based artist, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to come back, and I'd like to talk about more." And we had him on. He said, "Well, I'd like to come back again." So, yeah. So Adam on the Eve.
Yep.
That's going to be a regular show. Excuse me. He's an award-winning artist with his stuff shown all over the world, but he has his own vision, really, on life, the universe, and everything. To quote Douglas Adams. And so quite a fascinating show. Yeah, quite a fascinating show. I enjoy
his shows. His shows are very thought-provoking. So and he's going to do them once a month, or he may do them every other week. We don't know yet, but I know we have one coming up in April. So if you haven't seen Adam on the Eve, you can go back and look. In fact, I'll try to link it at the end. So if you guys want to see Adam on the Eve, you can see it at the end, or you can just go to the channel and find Adam on the Eve.
Yeah, we should be able to put the links, I think, at the bottom. So that was Adam, and again, somebody who originally came through a contact on Facebook, made this amazing artwork, said, "Would you like to come on the show?" And we were so wowed. Anyway, and then, as I said, we find ourselves having a conversation with him, and he says, "Oh, I'd like to come back." Well, yeah, we said, "Yeah, okay." And then the next move is, "Hey, come and have your own show."
There you go. Canadian Art Today.
Canadian Art Today. Yeah. How did that happen, Stephen? That was sort of.
That was you.
Yeah,
that was you. We interviewed Paul.
That was me.
Yeah, that was all you. And we interviewed Paul. Paul liked the show, and he has a website in Canada. And he's like, "I have thousands of artists that would love to talk to us." And so a month later, the show is born, and I think we've done 4 or 5 shows. We do them weekly, and every Thursday around 10 o'clock in the morning, I should say 11 o'clock Eastern time, there's a new show, and Paul interviews an artist out of Canada, and there's some phenomenal world famous artists up there. And that's a show that if you really are into art and the process and how they do it and whatnot, if you're a lover of art or an art student, this is a show that you definitely want to see.
Yeah, we kind of step back a bit from that, because what I mean by that is that we a little bit in awe, really, of Paul Constable, who himself is a very accomplished artist, and they go into like what we were talking about, paint and paper and brushes and all sorts of stuff. So we think, yeah, okay, we'll let the artist,
let him do that.
So it's very much a no, not all technical, but it's a lot more stuff than just well, we like your picture, and us,
pretty colors,
pretty colors in
it's
us,
like it's like the Da Vinci book that I read. It was 750 pages, and 500 of it was about pencil lines and how deep the pencil impression was on the paper. That's how technical they'll get. And so, like I said, if you're a real art fanatic, you want to be here.
Yeah, because it's again, I mean, I know Canada's a huge country, but I had no idea, to the extent of and that these people are up and what sort of work they're producing as well. So yeah, every week's a new one. Every week he sends me slideshows for the art, and we just sit and and look in awe. So anyway, that's
every Thursday.
Again,
every Thursday around 11 o'clock Eastern time. So there you go.
Okay. Where Eastern Time USA, I take it, not Eastern Time somewhere else in the East.
There's EST. Here we go. 11 o'clock EST.
EST. All right. Okay, that means something to somebody then. There you go.
I'm sure.
And that's middle of the afternoon for me, but you know, technically speaking, any time I'm on the old farts is the middle of the afternoon. So
Good afternoon for you.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Greg. Yeah, Greg. I've sort of connected to Greg via LinkedIn, and he was doing this whole series of climate skits, I suppose, for want of a better word, and again, also doing stuff about Dutch culture, which honestly was so on the money that it was difficult to get through them without having tears in your eyes. And so we've again, he's an American, American guy living in Holland, not quite as long as I've been living here, but for 25 odd years, I think. And he has his own funny, peculiar way of looking at things, and he has a very successful career here. He's been, on the TV and Dutch TV, German TV. So yeah, very funny guy. You never quite know what he's going to come up with.
That is very true.
But
I enjoy our dialogues with him. He's big into climate change. Yeah,
climate change and occasionally American politics, which which
that
for some people
is a joke. So
I was going to say, for some people that's funny, but
there you go.
But there you go. Yeah. What can I say? What can I say?
Yep, that's true.
Now, social intercourse, as far as I understand, this is still in production. So, all I can say indeed. So all I can say to KP is, hurry up, mate, because we want to get it up and running and showing everybody. But I think the essence of this is going to be basically about the woke world that we live in, and and the pluses and minuses that brings us.
All minuses.
Just kind of leave that one.
All minuses, from what I can tell.
Well,
I don't see any pluses.
Yeah, we see a lot of adverts on Dutch TV at the moment about don't ruin your friendships or your family relationships because they have a different point of view on climate or politics or sexuality. So yeah, it's very much of a hot topic.
My view on sexuality is everybody should have sex. I agree with that. There you go.
Yeah, it's good. It's the nice thing about being dyslexic is you always read the wrong thing when you see this promo.
Yes, I know. I like it. It's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all in production at the moment. So a bit naughty to show it, but who knows?
We may just have to get if KP can't get his act together, we just may have to get another host. Yeah.
So of course,
if you're out there and you have opinions and you think you could host a show with us, there you go. If KP can't get his act together by the time we come back from holiday, we're looking for a host for social intercourse. You don't have to have intercourse unless you want to, but it's more of a dialogue type show. So
it's a dialogue show, and I think what we want to try and do is cover as much woke stuff as we possibly can, because that's the thing that's really upsetting people, upstream and downstream, people who are for or against or whatever. So it should be quite an interesting subject anyway. But we'll see. KP's very busy.
It'll be something.
Yeah, he's very busy. So, this is showbiz, guys. So his name could disappear. There you go. He's gone.
Never liked him anyway. There you go.
Oh, you'll upset him. We'll never come back on now, Stephen.
I know.
Lost Dollar Business Club. What can I say about that?
Teaches you how to be rich. That's all it is. How to make $1 billion or how to lose $1 billion and turn it into $25. Well, I think the first show is how to take $1 billion in real estate and turn it into $25 in cash. So we showed that.
Yeah.
And now we're showing you how to take $25 in cash and make it into $1 billion, I think.
Yeah. Or does it show you how to open a bank? That's probably because that's the way to lose money at the moment.
Now that's the new thing. Yeah, you can be a banker after watching this show and maybe not lose everybody's money. But the Fed apparently is jumping in and helping people now. So who knows?
Okay. I did have a sort of a eureka moment this morning. I thought we might change it to the Lost Dollar Banking Club. But, toes treading on them, bit of a Swiss flag
Man,
behind it,
well, that with the bonds, I can't wait for Friday's show because we're going to talk about the
yeah.
bonds and how the
Is
bond
that
market,
James?
$278 billion.
Is that James Bonds we're going to be talking about?
James Bonds, we'll be talking about him. Yes, that's very exciting. But yeah, the Fed today said that they were going to help bail out all little banks and this and that because we don't learn. We're just stupid. We're just going to, it's 08.
Yeah.
It's the run on 29. It's everything. So, that's fine. It's play money anyway. They just print it. So it's not like it's real.
So it's going to be about James Bond bonds then, I think, on Friday. And so about how the banking service, wait for it, here it comes, has been shaken but not stirred.
There you go. Look at you. Little play on words. Boom, boom. Thank you. Until Thursday. Tip your weights down.
Yeah. And of course, it's our host as well, Michael. We like to tease him a lot on the show, but he does a great job.
He is a very good host.
So yeah, Lost Dollar Business Club, that kind of morphed out of something, but we'll cover that a little bit further on here. Now, mostly true with Rob Vega. What can I say? I think the title says it all.
True. There you go. Everything we say there is mostly true.
Yeah.
From lizard people to the alien invasion to politics to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of a South African bias because he's living down in South Africa. But So
can't say much about that. You just have to watch the show.
It's because it's mostly true. Yeah, we'll just leave it there.
Mostly true. That's true. Yeah. Got to watch the show for mostly true.
Mostly true.
New Spitz, better known as the Human Fabric. You really can't say anything here. If you want something zany and wacky, this is the show you want to watch. She is a trip. And I mean that in the nicest sense of the word. She is phenomenal. She's an interesting person. She reads in French and she sings and she does everything. It's almost like her own little 45-minute variety show. But if you just want to feel goofy and laugh, that's a good show to watch on Friday morning. Yeah,
because it's not scripted. And we sometimes don't know where it's going to go either, and nor does Noosh. I don't think she just loves to perform. I think she in her own way, she doesn't come across as a performer that it's all scripted and well thought about. I think she's just so spontaneous in the way that she does things that it's just it's turned into.
We read from the Book of Colors, and we also read from some other guy's book, which all his information is totally wrong, and it's much. But
he hasn't come back to us yet, so we can't mention his name. We won't do either. But if he does, we'll mention his name again. Also, occasionally we have music from the Jesus and the Right Lovers. Yes. And fishing news normally. It's normally some news somewhere about something about fish.
Yeah, we always have a good time with that one.
You just have to watch the show to understand what the hell we're talking about because we don't know.
There you go.
Anyway, Noosh, love it. Just don't know what's going to happen. Always a thrill.
Yep.
Yeah.
The remote show became the remote show became the Lost Dollar Business Club because Michael was just talking about remote work. And we would go off on tangents. So the remote show is how the Lost Dollar Business Club got its birth, if you will. So there's not really a lot to say. You can watch. We have all the shows up. If you're a remote worker or want to get into remote work, it's a good show to watch. But really, after 5 or 6 shows, we pretty much covered everything. So now we cover a little bit of that on the Lost Dollar Business Club, but we also then talk about business practices and whatnot on the Lost Dollar Business Club. So this show morphed into the Lost Dollar Business Club.
Yeah, but again, none of the shows have been taken down of any of the shows that we've done, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there are some pretty ugly shows, in there as well at the beginning. Yeah, as we were fighting our way to work out how Zoom works, and then we're lucky enough to be using another. I'll give a bit of a promo. I think StreamYard they've served us well. There's enabled to give me lots of little buttons and things to play around with. Always a plus point. So remote work. If you want bits and pieces about that, to say you'll also get an idea of where the Lost Dollar Business Club has moved on to. So, but we'll always say we left the shows up.
Rusty art. Rusty's actually, there's his painting right there. Rusty is a Belgian. I want to say Belgian, but he's not. He's a damn artist who just paints. He paints sneakers, and he's an artist, and it's just cool to get his insight. And he actually does live art on our show, and he'll tell you what he's doing and how to do it. So if you want to learn, this is a show that we do monthly. That's kind of cool to learn and just to see an up and coming artist. And he has a big show coming in June. So in a few years, he'll probably be a household name. So you should learn who he is now.
Yeah, I mean, great. Rusty. He's been a real supporter of the show from the get go.
Yeah.
And he just likes to surprise us. We just never know. I mean, originally he told us the very first thing he said, "I'm going to do something spectacular on one of the first Rusty Art shows," and he sort of said to me before he's messaging me before saying, you know, would I be upset if he set fire to all the art on the way? So I was, well, if that's what artists do. So you never quite know. I think he's moved away from setting fire to stuff, but he has a tendency to have about 3 or 4 paintings hidden somewhere in some piece of work in his studio. And then, and whatever he's doing, all this artwork sort of comes together. So that's
if you like art, it's another show. It's a little different than the Canadian art show, but it's still about art. But it's about a young funky kid that's in his 20s. And he does sneaker art and art. You can go see some of his shows. If not, like I said, we'll put the links and all the things down below. And if not, just search our channel. You'd be surprised what you'll find.
Yeah, I think Rusty will be. He could quite easily be in a very swanky gallery somewhere in a big city in the US, and people will snap his work up because there is just something about it, and you know what it is. It's like when you hear a band really early on, or you see an artist really early on, you can't put your finger on it. There's just something about it, but it's not just about the art or the talent that each individual person has. It's also about a great deal, buckets full, spades full of luck. So we wish him every luck that somebody will just see it and go, hey, hey, that's what I want to hang on my wall.
There you
go.
So
that's Rusty.
The sermon from the Nazis. The sermon from the German. And the sermon from the German is our friend, the brown car guy, and Raz, who's a cigar aficionado, and we just talk about whatever. And they usually sit in his BMW. So that's where the sermon from the German comes. Now, the sermon from the German, last show we did was a show about racism, which actually was very interesting. We also found out Chris Rock is Jewish during that show. There's a video on our site. You can see that, or we'll attach it here at the end. But that's a cool show because we don't talk about cars. We do a little bit. We may talk about cigars for a little bit, but we really talk about whether it's racism, wokeism, trigger words, or just society as a whole. And it's seen from, if you will, a Jew, a white guy from the Church of England, 2 Muslims, and then sometimes we have Roll on the show from South Africa, who's a European, whatever he calls himself. And it's
European African.
Thank you very much. It's an informative 45 minutes to an hour. The other part of it, which is interesting, the first time we did a show with the brown car guy, he literally, his tag was, what do you get when you get a Jew, a Muslim, and a Church of England guy on the show? So if you have a sense of humor, you want to watch it. Also, it's an insightful show, but it's done, how do I put it, with humor, but the point is the point. So there's a whole bunch of shorts.
And respect. It's quite open. They quite openly talk about, the things that happen to them in their lives, and the same for us. And it's interesting that with all our different backgrounds, again, Brown Car Guy is extremely successful on YouTube. Please don't jump off this show and look at his straight away, but just wait till you've seen the end of this one. And so we didn't want to we wanted to be inclusive with him on the show, but we didn't want to call it anything to do with cars because he didn't. Yeah, like Stephen said, he didn't want to talk about cars. So it's a bit of
a channel for that.
Yeah. But if you watch any of his shows, you'll see he's obsessed with his Beamer. So this is a bit of a homage to him and his Beamer.
Yes.
And last but not least,
Wild About Art was a show we did with Olivia Wilde, Oscar's daughter. And she was here in Austin, Texas, and she did about 30 or 40 shows weekly with us about art. And then she decided she had to go do some other stuff, which was totally fine. And she went and did her other stuff. And oddly enough, the week after that, the Canadian, Paul, said, hey, I'll do a show. So we lost Wild About Art, which was cool because it gave you all the local Austin, Texas artists. And we went to Canadian art. So now we have a whole country of art. So, but there's nothing that says Miss Wild may not be back or make guest appearances here and there. So, but we wish her always the best.
Yeah, as ever. It was always interesting to have her, Miss Wild on the show. And as Stephen said, very much, a lot of Americana, I think, as regards to the art. And so that was quite, which I found myself sort of really getting into. So it was quite interesting. So if you're interested in Americana and this, they have a word for it, the sort of, I don't know, Texas art or whatever they have, some sort of strange word for
it. Inbred. I think it's inbred. Oh no, that's something else. Never mind.
That's something else happens in Texas.
Just so you know, in Texas, when husband and wife divorce, they're still brother and sister. Okay, so let's not and it's Austin, so everybody
allegedly,
and also allegedly is very weird here. So so it's still Austin, Texas. So you got to take the good with the bad. But no, we've been very fortunate. Like David said at the very beginning, this started as an FU to our marketing team. And for you people that have never seen us or heard us or may never watch us, the show started as two old white guys. And the first few guests we had of color, thought that was the best name. Even on the show about racism, when we were talking about this, the brown car guys, you should have left it. But our lawyers and our wives and significant others were like, no. So it became Two Old Farts Making Noises. So we hope you've enjoyed this. If not, I don't care. If you have, subscribe and like. Also, there's a whole bunch of shows I think we've done over. This is show number 129. We're not even a year old. We have over 5,000 subscribers. We want to thank everybody. And if you want to advertise with us, let us know. Like, hey, Dim Sum Darling, New York City. They're one of our sponsors, so to speak. You got to throw that in there. And then Vetacor, which is Michael's company, is a sponsor. So there you go. So we do have people that actually like us and watch us. So you tell your friends. And, David and I try not to be the stars of the show, but we figured we would just do this little promo just so everybody had an idea of what the shows are and who we are, and to let everybody know we are going on a holiday the 23rd through the 30th of April 2023. I guess I have to throw that out there. So there you go. Did I miss anything?
Yeah. No, I was just busy trying to stop my cat from jumping on top of me. But as you do,
I hate when pussy tries to jump on top of you. It's terrible.
Yeah. I'd probably teed you up like a golf ball on that one. But I think what we should have been called. We should rename ourselves. Maybe next year we'll call ourselves Two Old Farts Talking About Woke. Which might get us a few more viewers. Who knows?
Yep. And also if you have an idea for a show or think you can host a show like Social Intercourse, or you have an idea and you want to come on or be on our channel, So we're always looking for new ideas.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning about shows. But if you got a DIY show, a cooking show, anything, we're more than happy to host it. But mainly because we're sort of slightly voyeuristic as to what other people like to do with their times. And
so we'll UFOs and lizard people too. I know. We always joke about that, but UFO, lizard people, we're all there all day long. So
well, maybe if there are any lizard people listening, they can come on and have their own show, like Lizard to Go or something. What about that?
Yeah.
Lizard to Go.
I like that. Lizards to Go, and then also if you're a musician, we'd love to have you on the show as well, whether you have a show or not. But just if you want to even just play something for the fans, that'd be awesome. So
Yeah.
we're very excited. This has grown a lot further than we ever thought it would grow. We literally figured we'd be doing like a show a month, and that was it. And now we do like 5 or 6 a week. For some of you that are fans of the channel, you're aware of that. For you that are just finding us for the first time, it's a very eclectic bunch of shows. You probably can find something you like if you just take the time to look through them all.
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, if you run a cultural centre where you regularly got bands coming in, and they're practicing or they're doing whatever, hey, come and have your own show and let's see all this up and coming talent. Because we're more than happy to host it and promote it. So
there you go.
Why? Because we're a couple of old farts.
There you go.
What can I say?
Even though we have real gigs, we're still a couple of old farts. Go figure. So once again, thank you to everybody. Thank you for helping us reach 5,000 plus people.
Yeah.
Our goal is to get to 1 million by tomorrow, and we'll see if that happens. But we'll get there slowly but surely.
It will now, Steve. Now that everybody's seen what we can offer. What can I say?
Who wouldn't want to watch this?
Yeah, and thank you for being an old fart. And
you too, my friend.
And thank you for allowing me to be an old fart. Well, officially then, because unofficially it would seem I always was. But there you go. And I'm going to. Yeah, since I was I'm going to do something really naughty now. You know that, don't you?
I know he's going to do he's going to play the end credits, which he's very proud of. So.
Yeah. So here we go.
There we go.
What can I say?
And I'm still waiting. This is the nice thing. Remember, I have to say this at the end before the rock and roll comes. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Tell your friends about the channel. And once again, it's been our pleasure to to come into your.
Well, his pleasure, and he hasn't been mine. But there you go.
It's been my pleasure.
He seems to be pleasurable.
Just can't deal like that. Ooh, this is where David does his voiceover. This is very exciting. Everybody, don't miss it.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, sadly, this is the end of today's show. A really big thank you to everyone who contributed today to the show. And of course, thank you to my co-host, Stephen Oldfart. I'm David Oldfart. Don't forget, subscribe to the show and get all the latest updates from Two Old Farts Making Noises.